everyone, and welcome to my natural. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for watching. So we're going to talk about exfoliation. There's two types of exfoliation. There's physical exfoliation and there's chemical exfoliation. Now, physical exfoliation is what I'll start with because that's what most of us are accustomed to and what most of us know and what I am here to discourage. And then there's chemical exfoliation, which is a lot of science, so brace yourself for that. But I'm going to explain to you why you need to switch from physical exfoliation to chemical exfoliation. Exfoliation basically is a process of removing dead skin from your face, and this is very detrimental to your skincare routine so that you can be able to have the good skin that you can work with, and you can slough off the dead skin, which really does not serve a purpose on your face. So physical exfoliation, I like to separate it or divide it into two parts, and that's using an equipment or using a product. I'll start with using a product. There are a lot of products out there, scrubs, exfoliating thingies, creams, powders, face masks that people are being encouraged to use. The problem with this is, I will actually explain to you the problem later, but let me just separate them. So there's the product itself, so your St. Ives scrub, your, I don't know, 3-in-1 Garnier scrub and face mask combo. All those things are products that are physical exfoliators. They physically take the dead skin off of your face. The other one is using a product. This can be the glove mittens that we use to exfoliate our bodies with, which absolutely, there's nothing wrong with using the products, the physical exfoliators, for anything down from your bust down. I was about to say bustier. There's nothing wrong with using those exfoliators, but they're too harsh for your face. For example, cleansing brushes, the mittens that people are using to scrub or to exfoliate, even the exfoliation cloths that I've been seeing going around. So if you're using either the product or the equipment that I like to call, this is all physical exfoliation. Why is this wrong? It's very rough on your face and it causes something called micro tears. Micro tears is like micro injuries. Think of very, very tiny injuries on your skin surface. And what happens, you end up having a lot of pigmentation. So if you're trying to treat hyperpigmentation by scrubbing off the skin so that you can get your new skin, the injuries in your skin are going to cause you to have hyperpigmentation. And sometimes, because your skin ends up being so raw and so bare, sometimes it ends up drying up. Those tears also, because your skin is open, right? And you're allowing bacteria to go in, chances are you're probably also gonna get acne. Your skin is sensitive, it's dry, and you've been exposed to bacteria. This is why I am discouraging physical exfoliators. Now take a deep breath, because now we're gonna go into chemical exfoliators. It's a lot of science, but guys, bear with me, because I think it's important for you to know why you're doing something and not just to be told do something. It's very important that you understand the science behind it, because once you understand the science behind it, you will appreciate why I'm encouraging chemical exfoliation and discouraging physical exfoliation. Chemical exfoliation works by the product. So for example, in this case, salicylic acid or lactic acid, the product goes into your skin surface and breaks down the keratin. Keratin is a protein, but let's think of it as a glue that holds the skin particles together, the skin cells together. When salicylic acid or lactic acid, which are both chemical exfoliants, come into contact with keratin, they break it down. And so once it's been broken down, it's easy for the dead cells to just slough off your skin. I hope that makes sense. It's a very gentle way, a very natural, so to speak, way of doing these things. Now, somebody might come concerned asking me, like, why are we using chemicals on our face? Isn't that unnatural? Fun fact is, salicylic acid, you can get it, actually both salicylic acid and lactic acid, you get them from very natural sources. So for example, salicylic acid is derived from willowbark tree and a few other trees, but I remember the willowbark tree, and lactic acid is gotten from milk. And this is where Cleopatra got the brilliant idea of soaking herself in milk, because she wanted or she understood, or she could see the changes and the use of having lactic acid in her skincare routine. Salicylic acid is the same product or the same product family as aspirin. Aspirin is made of salicylic acid, so they are family members, the salicylic acid that is used in skincare and the one that is used in aspirin. So if you're allergic to aspirin, I would not encourage you to use any products that have salicylic acid. Salicylic acid is a beta hydroxy acid, or a BHA. It's probably the only BHA that I am aware of. So how salicylic acid works is that it goes deep into your skin. It just doesn't sit on your skin surface. It goes deep into the skin skin, and not sometimes, it actually goes into your pores and actually exfoliates inside your pores. What happens is once it's gone inside there, it actually allows or declogs your skin and allows the oils that are stuck. You know, when you're clogging or when you have breakouts, it's usually a lot of oils that are stuck in your skin surface. So the salicylic acid is actually going to go inside and is going to break down the skin and the oils that is inside the breakout, and it's going to allow it to flow freely. So that's why when you use salicylic acid, you find that acne reduces or is no longer there. So salicylic acid doesn't just sit on the surface like all the other acids, it actually goes and penetrates deep inside. So whether you have acne or you don't have acne, salicylic acid is still good for you. And the beauty of salicylic acid, or rather what it treats, is that it treats acne, it treats hyperpigmentation, oily skin, blackheads, rough looking kind of like skin, and it also brightens the skin. So that's what salicylic acid does for you. So salicylic acid is quite a rough acid and it tends to dry out your skin. So when you're using salicylic acid, you need to be very, very careful with it, and you need to make sure that your other steps in the skincare routine are very, very hydrating and moisturizing. Up next is lactic acid. Lactic acid is something that I'm actually growing to love because of how gentle it is and how it's good for all kinds of skin types. It's good for sensitive skin especially. It's an alpha hydroxy acid, an AHA, alpha hydroxy acid, and it is derived from milk. So again, it's natural. It's not coming from something that is made in a lab. It's coming from sources that are very, very natural. Unlike salicylic acid, lactic acid doesn't go deep into the pores, it just sits on the surface. And so if you have acne, it necessarily will not go deep into the pores to remove the oils in there and exfoliate inside. It'll just sit on the surface. But what I know lactic acid does is that it minimizes clogging. So in as much as you might not be having acne prone skin, it could prevent you from having acne by minimizing the clogging that could possibly happen. Now the interesting thing about lactic acid is that it works best when it's at a low percentage. So sometimes you see 30% of a particular acid, that's not the best to use. So anything that is 10% or less for lactic acid is the best. And usually when you're using these acids, it's best for you to start with the lowest percentage. So usually most of the time it's 2%. So if you see something saying 2% BHA, for example, that would mean 2% salicylic acid, and that would be good to start with. Or if you see 0.5%, or if you see, those are the best. Start with the lowest that you can and then build yourself and your skin up to use higher percentages of lactic acid or salicylic acid. Lactic acid is very unique in that the lower it is, the better. So basically anything between 0 and 10% perfect will work perfectly for your skin. So lactic acid works in a very interesting way. It works first of all by brightening and evening your skin tone. So for example, if you have acne marks, age marks, hyperpigmentation, lactic acid does a very good job at just brightening your skin overall. And also if you have uneven skin, it tends to sort of even your skin out. That's a very interesting thing about it. The other thing is that it reduces signs of aging. So your fine lines, your wrinkling and all that, it smoothens it out. It also smoothens and soothes your skin. Unlike salicylic acid, which is very drying, lactic acid is actually quite hydrating. It prevents your skin from drying out. It also smoothes away skin texture. So texture is when you have, like, it's not pimples, it's not breakouts or anything, it's just texture, like your skin doesn't look smooth. So lactic acid tends to deal with that. Lactic acid is actually very good for people who have psoriasis or eczema, and has actually been encouraged for them to include it in their skincare routine. Lactic acid is so safe that you can even use it during pregnancy. However, I do disclaim that those are very sensitive conditions, and I would only encourage you to use them once you've been given a go-ahead by your dermatologist or esthetician. This was just me giving you information about how safe it is to use for a first-time user. Okay, so now that we've talked about lactic acid and salicylic acid, which one should you use? For starters, I would say start with products that have lactic acid. If you're acne prone, then I would say start with salicylic acid, but a very, very low percentage. However, just for general starting of an exfoliator, I would say lactic acid would be better. But I haven't seen very many products that are available in South Africa and in Kenya that actually have lactic acid, so I think we're kind of forced to stick to salicylic acid. The other thing to note is if you're going to use lactic or salicylic acid, these acids tend to make your skin very hypersensitive, especially to UVA and UVB rays, so you need to put on your SPF when you're using these products. I would not advise anybody to just walk out out and continue with their life without sunscreen on their face when you're using these things, you're really gonna put yourself at risk of burning or hyperpigmentation. When you're choosing which exfoliator is best for your skin, again, it needs to be up to your skincare needs and skincare goals. If it's acne, you know where you're going. If it's wanting to brighten, you know where you're going. So all this have to do with needs. And I think right now at this stage, you're probably understanding why I really can't recommend products. It's just because of this. Your needs are all very different. Your requirements are all very different. Your skin types are all very different. And also what your goals are very different. So I hope this makes you understand exfoliations. I hope I've converted a lot of you from physical exfoliators to chemical exfoliators, like people who exfoliate. I hope I've done that. But other than that, if you have any questions, feel free to DM me, feel free to comment down in the comment section down below, and I will be happy to answer your questions. I hope I've been able to assist you, and I hope the science wasn't too much. Apart from that, I will see you guys another time. Bye.